Hey everyone, welcome to the Sith Dominion. I'm Dr. Dana Martin, your host, and joining me the last several times, Mr. Zane Martin, the Zane. If you're tuning into other channels, there may be another Zane out there. We'll touch on that. That other Zane might come in. And of course, the wonderful Cat Holler. Cat, say hi to everybody.
Hey everybody, how's it going tonight?
So yeah, man, how's everybody doing? Today we're going to be talking a little bit about Asajj, a lot. But before we get into that, just want to catch up on everybody since we were the set that performed this wonderful show last week. Just what has everybody been doing Star Warsy over the last week? Go ahead, Kat.
Oh, Star Warsy, I have to admit I've been falling down on that. But you know, because I had to check out Strange New Worlds, so I had to hop over to the other Star side and hop over and do some Trek. But you know, over at Geek News Now, you know, we've been reporting on some good stuff. We just ended up Satire Summer with you know, the Oppenheimer experience coming to a theme park near you. So if you haven't checked that out yet, hop on over to geeknewsnow.net and see what my buddy Andrew had to say about the new theme park experience. It's all the new rave.
That's fantastic. How about you, Zane?
Well, I mean, the only Star Wars related stuff I've done is I finished the second Chiss Ascendancy book.
Oh.
Yeah. Other than that, I've just been binging Suits on Netflix.
Suits.
Good show.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Good show.
Meh. I saw Strange New Worlds. I started watching Mayor of Kingstown tonight. And
oh, that's a good one.
Strange New Worlds in Paramount. I was like, is it good?
Yeah, Strange New Worlds is actually, it's pretty on point. I've been watching it since, it was one of those like, let me give it a shot. I've hopped in and out of Trek over the years. But yeah, I mean, if you're also looking for someone else to binge, I believe is also on Paramount, there's Tulsa King. So check that out. No, this is the original Zane. This isn't Darth Zane. This is the original.
Zane. This is the original Zane. Oh yeah, we got that. Someone came in and threw that down. There we go. The one only Zane with his camera froze as he was drinking his.
See, that's the great time to screen capture and make those memeable moments.
The memeable moments.
Man. So one of the things that we're going to do on this show as we're kind of, finding our feet is really give opportunities to talk about what people do, whether that's around Geek News Now or whether that's authors or artists or what have you. So later on, we're going to be talking with Kat a little bit more about her, what kind of stuff she's amazing at for us, and a lot of stuff. If you're watching and you've seen stuff from my videos, then it's probably because of her. So throwing that out there, we'll talk a little bit later. On HoloNet, though, there is the Acolyte update. So I'll admit that I started working on a "Why do we need this?" article a while back, and I shelved it because I was like, I don't know if I want to go that route. But I don't know if you all saw, there is an article on Inside the Magic talking about we potentially are going to get to see more of that whole Duel of the Fates, sabering, and some freaking High Republic. Well, forget the High Republic. I mean, let's be honest. But
Jedi by Gucci.
Yeah.
Jedi by Gucci.
Yes, Jedi by Gucci. I love that. That's fantastic. So if you guys check that out, what are you guys looking for in that?
So Acolytes, I feel, is as far into the dark side as the current Mouse Overlord really wants to go. Because Acolytes are primarily associated with the dark side of the Force, with the Sith. I think it's maybe their way of dipping the toe in to see, like, we know we have these fans that are screaming for the dark side.
Sure.
But do they really want it? Obviously, from our posts, the fans want it. So with that being said, I think this is their way of trying to dip their toe in without committing to full-on Empire, full-on Darth Revan, Darth Bane, getting into nightsisters. This is how they dip their toe to see if the interest is really there.
I would agree completely. Zane?
Honestly, I'm just excited for the lightsaber fights. that's I mean, we can agree that for basically almost every Star Wars movie, the best scenes are the lightsaber fights.
Mm.
I mean, look at Duel of Fates, Battle of Heroes, which are some of the best. But I mean, even looking at the article with how much choreography they're saying they're gonna have, I'm just excited for that.
So, you guys, this is way before your time, Zane. But the Masters of Terras Kasi, you remember that video game? So,
Vaguely.
man, so I played a lot of the Star Wars Galaxies, and that was one of the paths was Terras Kasi and Master, and I'm really hoping they're gonna maybe touch on some of that too. If they're talking heavy choreo and spinning lightsabers, it could only, in my opinion, mean we're gonna get some of that too.
Well, I think they're figuring that's going to be their safety net because of the popularity that Ray Park brought to Darth Maul.
Mm-hmm.
Because he brought us some epic saber fights and epic choreography that he's actually been able to reproduce in public.
Ray Park.
I've seen him do it. I've seen him do it at a few conventions, like without missing a beat. So I think it's kind of like, well, if the fans aren't really into it, the saber fights will save it.
Yeah.
And they're not necessarily wrong.
No. I would agree. Zane?
I do agree with that. That being said, it really will be a tough one for them to hash out if all they're basing everything on is lightsaber fights. Because as cool as they are, you really can't have a story with fighting.
Well, and I forget, 12 minutes of cinema footage for 6 straight months of rehearsal for Obi-Wan and Anakin. And when I heard them say, no, they are that fast, no tricks, they just rehearsed it and worked it. And what respect I have for them, one, as actors, to put in the effort like that, put in the time. But two, I mean, how much you're going to have to try to get folks like Ray Park that are already fluent in this style as the actors. Oh, Kat, go. You look like you're about to.
Well, so yes and no. So I say that because while my theater background has given me sword fight choreography experience, out here in San Antonio, part of one of my cosplay groups used to have a very heavy Star Wars focused LARPing segment. And you could train someone in a Taru if they dedicated to it and spent like a couple hours a day working at it at full speed in like 6 weeks.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, you're right. I mean, and I've got a little theater under my belt, and I guess you're right. I mean, we put on a full choreoed show in 6 weeks, and
yeah.
So
but I mean, like, we, as part of the LARPing group, like part of going through that whole process was learning those forms, every single form from Star Wars.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
So it is doable. The person that we always referred to as our Grand Master, like, I mean, he was good in the form he was good in. We had a guy who was like, he was our Ataru Master, and it was like watching him and the person that he worked with most commonly combat together was like watching Anakin and Obi-Wan. Real time. I mean, and the worst part was, as the fight went on, they just kept getting faster until someone got injured, and then I mean,
it's all fun and games.
I mean, that didn't stop them, but they paused for a minute and slowed back down. You know, so it's doable.
Michael's gonna die on this hill. It looks like. I'm right there with you though, like 100%. You got to walk such a fine line with that form, man. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
And some of the forms are more rigid. Like, I mean, Ataru is your jump spin form. You know, plain and simple. Yeah.
Yoda Yaddle.
Well, but there's a reason, because it was designed for you to move fluently and take up a lot of space. So if you're thinking about it from the aspect of like a theater performance, if you want someone out on that stage that's just going to look really good, and you have someone who's not really great at sword fighting, you put them up against a Taru master, and it's going to look like the best fight ever, and they're probably only going to connect twice.
Yeah. Swing and a miss, swing and a block.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss, swing and a block. Totally. Oh, we got this little man. I loved seeing Mace, man. That was
the ultimate stance of come at me, bro.
No, I love that scene though with him and Palpatine. I really hoped we would get. Hold on a second. First time, some technical difficulties getting Darth Zane on. Apparently,
Okay.
Again, if this doesn't work, I don't know, David, what to tell you, my friend. Is that Shatterpoint? Is what Shatterpoint? What am I missing?
Yeah. No, the come at me, bro, is at the end when he stabs with his staff and is just like, yo. Like full open, like.
When he does the. Yes.
Yeah, because at that point you have no defense. From a sword fighting standpoint, you have zero defense in that stance.
You're just like goading him, and oh my goodness. What is happening, Darth Zane? Oh, look at it.
I made it. It's all good. How's it going?
Nice. How you doing?
See, that's what it was. See, all of a sudden Darth Zane shows up, and Zane's cameras and internet suddenly magically work.
Look at that. Look at that.
Hey.
We needed both sides of the Force.
It's the Force.
That's right.
David, glad that you could swing through, man. This is going to be fun. So it's only fair. I mean, I always crash your shows, so you know.
Sure, why not?
So for those
I'll come on and hang out with you, Sithians.
Heck yeah, Sith is the way, man.
Dark side's the best side.
Amen. Let's see. Oh, that looks nice too.
Ooh.
So I'm going to introduce you, Kat, because we're going to talk a little bit about you. We're changing up our whatever it's called, outline. Who cares, right? We're here to have fun. So, Miss Kat, you are quite frankly the dynamic force behind GNN, our social media, our marketing, everything that has to do with that. You're our director of social media and marketing. You bring this air of creativity, innovation, and you're engaging our entire community, whether that's MCU, whether that's the Trekkies, whether that's a Sithis. Your passion for all those things geeky and your dedication are keeping our followers informed and entertained, and we really appreciate you. So now I can do an actual introduction and say, Miss Kat, thank you for joining our show. I didn't do this for you last time, but man, we are so excited to have you here.
I mean, really, it's just, you know, my accumulation of all my hobbies gets to spill out into what is GNN. Because my hobby is collecting hobbies.
You know, and I think, you know, coming on to this is such a large geekdom world of GNN. I got sucked in initially following David Gramillion way back, and then, you know, here I am 3 years later. He just has a way of sucking you into his stuff. And yeah, so tell us how you came to be at GNN.
So I know David. You know, to your point, I met David through the cosplay group I was speaking about. Here's Villains of Cosplay here in San Antonio. And he had because we knew some other Star Wars groups or Star Wars LARPing type groups at the time. And it was like, hey, you know, this guy's got this cool radio show. And so we got to know him way back when he had the radio show in syndication. Mm-hmm. Then he was like, you know what? It's time to do something else. I kind of want to move on to something else. And in 2019, it was when he started talking about GNN. He was looking at getting it all rolling like in the fall. And I was like, all right, hear me out here, David. Fall is not good for me. If you want me to start something in fall, I will do nothing. but stare at you and be like, because fall just was not good. So I said, how about this? Talk to me again as we start getting into January 2020. He's like, all right. Talked to me then, brought me in as part of the writing team. And then miraculously COVID hit. And so we were put in a unique situation to start standing up a geek news organization without the ability to get out in the public. And we did it. We had a team of writers. We had some AV folks. I think we were just starting to get some podcasts like early 2020 coming on.
We had Twitch. We had Twitch going on too.
Twitch had gaming. Yeah, we did have a gaming team at the time. I forgot about them because they've
kind of.
Yeah, we want to bring them back, but we just haven't had the opportunity yet to bring back in a gaming team. And yeah, so then from there, once things started opening up again, I'm fairly well adept at in-person events. Not just from my cosplay group, but I mean, I've been conventioning since you could walk up to San Diego Comic-Con and buy a ticket same day. So from there, as we started getting more and more events, trying to encourage people like, hey, get out there as you feel comfortable. We know that everybody's comfort level after being stuck at home for 3 years was different. Some people were ready to get out there and do it again. Some people are like, not so sure about that. But, folks like me, Darth Zane, also known as David Furr over there, David himself, we started getting out to more events in the public, which then, of course, has just kind of slowly grown. We're working on getting more people out. But because of my experience with all of that was how I got into doing public affairs, because I'm really good at like researching, like, hey, what's going on in your area? Like, you give me a town and you tell me the distance you're willing to drive, and let me see what I can find for you.
Nice.
And then recently, I transitioned over into social media marketing, so that we can keep getting the word out. Let all the geeks out there know there are plenty more people like you out there. So no matter what your fandom is.
And you've been instrumental in us getting folks to even know about that this show is coming on now. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah, but you handed me content, and I just like stuck shiny stars on it. Like I churched it up. Like
I love that. Churched it up. David, I need to introduce you because people that don't know who you are.
Okay.
David Furr, you have been a Star Wars geek since the beginning, I hear, and that you grew up in Star Wars, consumed with it, stayed with it, even through the dark times. I can't wait to understand that.
I don't know if you'll be able to see this. This is I keep this on my desk just because for things like this.
There you go.
This is me in a Luke Skywalker mask cut out from the C-3PO serial.
Oh my God.
Back in 1980, God only knows when.
I believe that was 86, sir.
Oh my, that is.
I didn't think it was that. I thought it was sooner than that. I thought it was prior Jedi, but
man, you can make me try to go get my Burger King glasses from Empire.
I've got a certificate downstairs somewhere that launches me as an honorary Jedi Knight, signed by Yoda, pulled off the back of my underoos package.
Nice.
You know the underwear that's fun to wear. I had Han Solo underoos, so.
Man, I had no idea that's where we were going, and we are a Sith show, folks.
I just went there.
OnlyFans, here we come.
Such a
That's
nerd.
right.
Dude, underoos were fantastic. Moving along. No, David, how did you get caught up in all this?
So, back in 2012, David Gramillion and I were both moderators for a large group. It was the Star Wars fan base, and I think he was a moderator on the main page, and I was moderating the Star Wars Lego fan base. So I was doing all the stuff for their Facebook page, and he was doing all the stuff for the main page and everything. And he got kicked from that, and I don't recall what exactly he did, but the people that were running the pages are like bat crap crazy anyway. So it's like, So I left with him. Well, then he, I was friends with him on Facebook, and I just kind of kept up with him. We chat back and forth every once in a while. And then he started the radio show, and I I wouldn't go. The radio show was, I don't live in San Antonio. I live in Denton, which is like about 4 or 5 hours north of San Antonio. Long ways away. But the radio show, he would do a live stream for the radio show. That it was a pre-recorded radio show. He'd do a live stream for it on Thursday nights, I think.
Mhm.
And I Thursday night, that was my night. I just turn on the live stream and listen to that, and it was great. And then in fall of 2019, like Kat said, he comes and he says, "Hey, you want to come write?" And I was like, "Okay." And started there. I started writing in 2020, I think it was. Maybe it was 2020. No, it had to have been 2020.
Yeah, I think you and I came in around the same time. Like, I think you'd been there just a little bit before I had.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was November. I know it was November 2019 was when my first article was published, because that was like, I just remember that because that's one of those cool things. It's like, it's my first article. Woo! I'm published. Awesome. But but in 2020, or maybe it was the end of 2020. Or maybe the first of 2021. The first of 2021 was when I took over the Literary Legion. I was the head of the literary people, and I think that was 2021.
Yeah.
And I did that for a long time, and then I got a new job, and I just couldn't keep up with it. And I was like, I gotta. Plus, I had MCU Mondays we were doing, and I had Cantina Happy Hour, and my wife was like, "You spend all your time at your computer," and I said, "Yes, dear." She said, "This is the most expensive job you've ever had," something along that line. I don't know. She says, "You don't pay attention to me." I don't know. I wasn't really listening.
Edible arrangement or tips?
My husband says words, and I nod. I'm like, okay.
Sure.
Hold on. Hold on. I'm making a TikTok.
Yeah. So that leads us up to here. I write once in a while still. I don't write near as much. I used to crank out 4 or 5 articles a month, and I just don't write near as much as I do. And of course, I host Cantina Happy Hour on Thursday nights and MCU Mondays on Monday nights. I actually just picked that one up. Chris Cassidy was hosting that show, and he kind of decided to step down. So Debbie and I begged him, and he said, "Yeah, y'all can have it." And we were like, "Sweet." So that's where we are.
Well, I will say, as the noob, I just really appreciate everything you all have done. It's been fantastic. Like you said, you remember that first article. It's like, oh my gosh, that's my stuff. Oh, and then this one caused the stink already. My bad.
Well, and it's real funny because, Kat was saying about conventions and stuff, and in 2019 we were starting off, and we were, it was going good, and Fan Expo 2020 had been scheduled, and Dave and I had written them, and we were already in contact with them, and we already had press passes, and we were ready to go, and then everything started shutting down, and it was like, okay, it's still in June, so we're okay, we'll be fine, and then as we got closer and closer to June, and everything was still closed, I'm like, please let it still. Then we got to June, I was like, crap.
And
right,
like the true Sith that I am, every time they'd be like, no, it's gonna be okay. I was like, we'll see. Like, oh, we got this thing coming up here. It's scheduled. Okay, we'll see if they don't cancel that.
June's 3 months out. They'll have this thing figured out by then.
There was a lot of that.
Yeah.
There still is a lot of that. No, they're coming back. No, they're not. Oh, my goodness. Well, thank you, too, for joining, and Kat for joining again. We'll
anytime.
Talk about you again sometime, Zane. You'll be around. You're my, oh my gosh, I need some help. Come on, son, bail me out. Well, I'm sure there'll be times I'll have to bail you out in the future. That's just how it works, right? So thank you guys for our Korriban Corner. We're gonna move into our deep side dive with Dr. Dana Martin. I just barely finished, not even finished actually. I'm like 5 minutes away from finishing Dark Disciple, and we're gonna talk a little bit about Ventress, and some of it we'll touch on this a little, because I think there's 3 main points I'd like to get y'all's feedback on. The first being resilience with her. She's very resilient through, in my opinion, everything from being a Jedi and being a night sister, being a bounty hunter, being a I mean, she's running the gamut. And there's a certain level of resiliency, I think, in her story that we can take from, and not. This is a dark side thing because as through Dark Disciple, she's very much like, no, I still am dark, right? So wanted to get y'all's thoughts straight away on that piece, on her adaptability and resiliency.
Well, I'll say this as far as resilience goes. She's already died once. and everyone seems to forget that, and they brought her back to life. So, the whole thing with the 2003, was it the 2003 micro series? The first run of that, she died at the end, and I was like, oh, okay, they brought in this new character and they killed her. Great, awesome. And then all of a sudden the Clone Wars happened in 2008, and it's like, oh, all right, they brought her back again. That's cool.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, but she showed resilience early on.
Yeah.
Because, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong on this, because it's been a little while since I've gotten into my lore. But if I remember correctly, she was taken as basically as part of Force-sensitive batch of Night Sisters that were enslaved.
Yes.
So she was brought up in forced servitude to a tyrant. And so here's this almighty, all-powerful, Force-sensitive Night Sister. Which, if you want to talk about a force to be reckoned with, that's it. She will cut you down and then she'll hex you. It's totally cool. Like,
she will make sure your afterlife sucks.
Yes. But just to kind of like take this from, because Night Sisters are very much a sisterhood. You are woman, you are superior. So going from that to being enslaved and having to use some sense of humility just to survive, because the people that enslaved her, like, the outnumbering was ridiculous. And so it would be like going into a communist country and breaking the law. You are not going to run, you're not going to break out of that prison, you're not going to get a plea. You are going to become compliant, you are going to disavow everything you've known, and you are going to behave in a manner that is a shell of yourself and hope that you do not lose who you were at the beginning of that journey.
That is very eloquently put. I'm sure that people on this right now can say, I've been in a job where that has been me. I've lost, I'm in servitude right now, and I just gotta I gotta break the rules, I gotta break the mold, I gotta do something to get out.
Why you calling me out, Dr. Dana?
Yeah.
Why you gotta call me out like that, man?
I mean, I don't know who from my work watches, but I just saying you're quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
He's like,
No,
crazy, this lady uses big words.
big words.
Like, you know,
You and your $5 words.
Me understand no.
they're like 350 words, Darth Zane.
Oh, okay. Fine. No, in this economy, they're $5.
Oh, that's true, the inflation.
Yeah, we got inflation and whatnot.
Sucks,
so
man.
Yeah.
Well, when you look at Ventress and like specifically moving to what she had to do in her bounty hunter life and crossing Boba and living to tell about it and some other things, that those relationships and that rapport, it was there, even though and you see it in Dark's Disciple where Boba's like, who and do you think you are? And she played him like a fiddle because she knew him, her Sithy ways, her brilliant ways of knowing her enemy, knowing everything about him and being able to influence them to get what she wants. Those relationships and that rapport carried over years later. And I would love to hear your thoughts on that relationship. Boba's always front and center lately because of his own show and everything else. And I don't want to belabor Boba, but Boba and Ventress's relationship was unique, and I wanted to hear if you guys had any thoughts on that.
Y'all go.
I have not watched that line of the Clone Wars in a long time.
Zane.
So it's on my list of things.
No, I'm sorry. I was reading Darth Zane saying, "Come on, Zane," and then now I look at you, Zane.
But no, I mean, yeah, she
when we are in those situations, even when we're getting cut down, and not to reflect on Maul and how you can get cut down in your job, you know, that yes, resiliency, but you got to have relationships in not only your place of business, but in your life. Not necessarily besties everywhere, but just folks that you know in your circle that you can depend on, and that can depend on you. I have no doubt that Boba knew, push come to shove with their relationship, she'd be able to support him in something where the creds right. Right?
Well, I mean, let's face it, you know, a lot of what we know of Boba Fett is from the childhood memories we have of playing with our dolls in our room. Sorry, gentlemen. And I'm Boba
They
Fett's
were
never
action
gonna-
figures.
Action
Well,
figures.
It never
I'm
left
sorry,
the box.
your action figures are never going to live up to live action, which is, you know, why everyone was so disappointed there. But like you said, for Boba and Ventress, they had a business arrangement. Like, they were work besties. Like, you know what? You do this part of my job, you help me with this part, we help each other. But we don't go out to happy hour together. Like at 5 o'clock when we punch out, we punch out.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And the
That
same
is-
thing,
That's
same
part
could-
of how you keep that separation.
and the same could be said about Ahsoka too, because she partnered with Ahsoka at least during Ahsoka's trial and false accusation and all that. That one I remember.
Well, that though may have been more of a pairing from a place of empathy. Because here, and I'm still amazed that she made her way back into the Night Sisterhood. Even though she was taken out as a slave, to get out of that situation, she became Jedi. She transitioned to bounty hunter, and then came back to Dathomir to rejoin the tribe. So here is a woman who I'm sure on some level has been very outcast, and she has been made the villain of so many people's story, whether she deserved it or not. So here she sees someone else who's in that same situation, who's being singled out unfairly. Well, here, let me give her one ally.
Yeah.
And later on, that being that ally, there may be some benefit.
Quinlan Voss.
Mhm.
I mean, she sensed him already, had been having some doubts. And can we? Okay, I know I just read it, so it's all fresh. But the Jedi Council ordered a hit on Dooku. To me, that's one of the most hypocritical, and maybe I just don't understand Jedi, and that's why I'm all over here on the Sith side. But if you're gonna say one thing, then you dang well better act that other, act that same thing. You do something different, like, okay, yeah, we're about, you know, peace and love and joy, and then hey, I need to go on this secret mission.
No, they're about peace, love, and joy as long as they're in power. The Sith are just honest about where we stand.
Thank you. I'm sorry, man. Darth Zane's
No, I was gonna say you've got the whole thing too with we don't want the Sith coming back, so we don't know where the master is. We got them always there too. They're our master and apprentice.
Yep.
So we don't know where the master is, but we sure as crap know where that apprentice is, and we can get him.
And look, at the end of the day,
maybe that'll draw the master out.
Jedi aren't strong enough to take out two people.
That's exactly what I was about to say. You had two, and you had thousands. Oh man, it just seems that one side is more powerful. No, not more powerful. No, maybe
Easy, more seductive.
maybe.
Well, I
Because-
mean, also, we are the hide and seek champions of the world.
Yeah.
We will blend, we will hide, but what we call that in modern day is modern guerrilla warfare. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, and if the enemy doesn't know what I look like, they'll never see me coming.
I like to call it covert peer influence. I got something for everything. But you're exactly right. And kind of the tertiary piece here was I like to try to use real world examples. Reed Hastings, the Netflix CEO, love him or hate him. Look, at the end of the day, he made a pretty bold move to make the switch. I remember getting in on Netflix DVD mail in way back when I got my first DVD player. Probably some folks listening don't even know what that's about, but it was exciting. And you got all, just a subscription. You got all these DVDs, and then they started slowly not having the DVDs and streaming. But that was a bold decision to make in light at that time of the blockbuster that was still alive and now selling Blu-ray or renting out Blu-rays, all Hollywood Video, Blockbuster, the list goes on. And who's still here? Netflix. So, bold decision, going to Boba for help. Bold decision, going to save Quinlan Voss. Working with the Jedi again, risking her getting taken by the Jedi and executed to save Quinlan Voss. That was a bold decision and something I don't know I would have had the gumption to do. But what are y'all's thoughts on that?
Well, if we're talking real world, it also gets back to what Warren Buffett has always said about you need people around you.
Mm-hmm.
You need people who believe in your cause. You need people who are going to inspire you. You need people who are going to support you.
Yep.
Now, those people are not always one and the same. Those people are not always your family. Those people are not always your friends. There's a common saying in small business that nobody will support you and be a bigger cheerleader for you than strangers you've never met. Because the online community of people out there that are small business owners or people that have their side hustles that are entrepreneurial, they have their circle of people because it's other people that are like-minded. When you're talking about Ventress in this particular situation, look at Count Dooku. Very like-minded. They were each other's biggest cheerleaders. So they supported each other for quite a while to accomplish those goals. So really what you really see if you really look at the Sith Empire, you see a corporation.
Mm-hmm.
You see a long-standing corporation. Where when you start looking at the Republic, there you're seeing more of your politicians and your smoke and mirrors. So your Sith are your movers and your shakers that are going to get it done. Your Jedi Council, those are your talkers.
Anakin had it right. I mean, if they're not going to listen, they should be made to listen. I mean, how quick would that
or even because I just watched Revenge of the Sith like today, but they've granted Palpatine more emergency powers. Well, that's good. That will mean more action and less debating.
We're in the no spin zone, Zane. Take it away. I want your thoughts on that.
Thoughts on? Can you say what you were talking about? We've had a long conversation.
on Ventress and her using folks for her benefit. Not using, but making those relationships, building those relationships.
Networking.
Networking.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Honestly, I think you can see a lot of similarities, yes, in Dooku, but also in Palpatine. Mm-hmm. I think we talked about it on the first episode. Palpatine had his circle around him who got things done. He was the one who told them everything, and how he moved through everything was because of them. Same thing with Ventress, She always had her people. She knew who to call, and I think that was a very big part of how she was able to succeed for so long, even with Darth Maul and Savage, because that was a thing.
Yep.
I think also you got some. It just hit me. Autonomy. So the Jedi Order, you get your marching orders and directions. You're going to go here, Master Windu. You're going to go here, whatever, as decided by the Council. You're told what to do and where to go. You have zero autonomy to improvise. And then Anakin gets crapped on by Obi-Wan because he's improvising. I mean, come on. that is what we
call it
want as
ad-lib.
people leaders. I want someone autonomous that I can say, this is the goal. You do whatever you can do within the ethical bounds of our business to do and get done what needs to be done. Sorry, man. That just hit. I hit hard the way that you explained that. Never thought of that. Jedi have to answer for everything they do, and Sith just act based on their passion and what they believe the situation calls for. Is that so bad?
Yeah, so the Sith really should get like a 3-letter acronym called GSD. You know, get stuff done.
Get stuff done.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll go with stuff.
We'll keep it PG. Keep it PG.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for that. That was super fun. One of the better conversations I think we've had. We'll move on now because man, we've been at it. But want to talk about the cover art for Dark Disciple. The picture I'm going to show you is maybe if I can do this right because I'm a new. Hey, does everybody see this? Nice.
Hey.
So this is not the cover art. This is an alternate cover art that I think is just brilliant. Yeah. I think there's a lot going on here, and I'm just going to let it sit here for a second. Anyone have any thoughts on it?
They gave her hair.
They did. Well, she did
no.
have that tuft of hair a couple times, yeah.
Yeah, in one of the original covers, it was the black, red, and white. You kind of get the inkling of like a short haircut.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you playing along without video, you've got Quinlan Boss in a classic whatever. I can't the pose. The pose.
The Jedi pose. Holding
The Jedi form 2. Standing there and looking just sick and intent at your eyes, at your gaze. And then you've got right to his left, Ventress just staring down, looking at her yellow blade, just contemplating. And I highly recommend that book. Debbie pointed out a while ago. Yeah, it's a great book. It is. It's so good. Dark Disciple. Check it out. Alternate cover art. All right. I'm not going to hit end stream like I almost did last.
Oh, don't do that.
Yeah, I got to find how to get back live. I'm not good at this.
You gotta on your left hand side. There you go.
Woohoo!
I feel
We're all good here.
like Chris Pratt. Okay. All right. So, wow, this has been a great episode. Real quick, it seemed, but we've been on 45 minutes. So recap. We talked a lot about Kat and a little about Darth Zane, aka David. Zane has been the ultra contributor for the show today.
He wins the award.
He wins the award.
Thank you.
We talked about the news of surrounding Acolyte. Real stoked about that. Maybe some Terrace Kasi stuff. I'm excited if that creeps in there. And then we've got, of course, Ventress we talked about for a long time. With that being said, I'm starting to feel like, man, we could do like a month on some of these characters with lore. And I think as we push out, and we'll make sure you all that watch are engaged and know what we're doing, get some suggestions from you all on what you want to dive a little deeper into. With that being said, next week we have 2 options. Option number 1, are we going to continue down the path of Sith witches? Because I kind of promised some of that last time, but Ventress is just too big of a character to really touch on the Sithy stuff. That's what I'd like to do. If you guys want to, let me know. If you don't, I'll grab another Sith Lord. Any parting shots? What are we working on? I know, Zane, you've got a show in Wimberley this weekend.
At the Lions Club Market Days?
At the Lions Club
Market Days
in Wimberley, Texas. Go check him out. His band's pretty cool. Bo Moore and the Back 40. Yeah, let's go. All right. And we've got Darth Zane, who has MCU Mondays, also has Thursdays,
Cantina Happy Hour.
Cantina Happy Hour.
The light side of Star Wars.
The lights.
Star Wars. I love being on there. It's fun.
Yeah. There's always rabbits. We're always chasing rabbits.
And then Kat, who just is everywhere all the time. She's on. We're normally though on
Geek Gauntlet.
Geek
Yeah.
Gauntlet
Yep, Saturday nights, Geek Gauntlet.
Saturday night. So we have represented 4 shows here.
Yeah.
Yes. Fantastic. Wait, can we spread the wealth around? Let some other people. No, I'm just.
I asked Dave Gramillion about a raise, and he said, "I'll give you 25% more than what you're making right now."
Whoa, that's insane.
You know, someday he's gonna have to use those words because
I'm looking forward to
it. He said,
It's a lot
"Sid,
of
go
fun
do
in
your
the
city
old-
things and promote." Like,
It's a lot of fun over in the old writers chats. I will sign off here shortly, but man, thank you all so much. Check out Geek News Now official on YouTube, which is where you're at right now, unless you're listening on a podcast. You'll see the Sith Dominion. You'll see Cantina Happy Hour. You'll see. Wait, we still got Cam in Focus. Are we still doing Cam?
Yes, he does. He does. His show is just once a month, and it's not really a. He does a recording just once a month.
Sure. And he does those minute things too every now and then too.
60-second reviews. Yep.
Yeah, those are fun too. So check all that stuff out. Man, there's all kinds of stuff. And we Geek News Now official. It's our new page, our new landing page for YouTube. Geeknewsnow.net. Gosh, is there anything else?
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Facebook, yes.
Smash the like and subscribe button. Get notifications. That way you know when we're go live.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
so for all you
we've made
Darksiders
that
out
switch.
there,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
all the Darksiders out there that want more Sith content that the Darth Mouse probably won't give us, you know, hey, tell YouTube that you want to hear more about that and you want to talk more about the dark side. They'll give you that content as long as you make sure you like and subscribe.
Amen. Thank you. All right. Zane, Darth Zane, Kat. I'm Dr. Dana Martin. Oh, yeah. How are we signing off? We need to come up with something better than whatever I did in that first episode. So that was terrible. If you don't, I'm not going to repeat it. You guys got to see it. But I will stick with Pieces of Lie. There is only passion, kids. Always remember that. We'll see you guys next week. Maybe if I can hit the thing on the post, I might be able. Where is the video for the? Okay.
Or like we're just gonna sit here and keep streaming for like the next week.
And then
like you can watch us sleep.
All right. Take it easy, folks.